If you're over 65 and feel like your body is wearing out faster than it should, you might be right. Nurses who work with seniors every day have noticed specific warning signs that often go ignored. Small changes in your body or behavior that quietly signal you're aging too fast. And when these signs are missed, things can spiral. More pain, more weakness, and more dependence on others. But here's the good news. If you spot them early, many of these signs can be slowed, even reversed. Your body may be whispering, and now is the time to listen. If you're serious about staying independent and strong after 65, don't miss this. Hit that like button, subscribe for more trusted senior health videos, and share in the comments. Which of these signs have you noticed lately? You're not alone, and together we can age with strength and dignity. You wake up, the sun is rising, and the clock says you've slept a full 7 or 8 hours. But instead of feeling rested, your body feels like it's dragging. Your legs feel heavy, your head feels foggy, and deep down, you're still tired. Not just a little sleepy, but bone tired, like you never slept at all. If this happens more often than not, it's not something to ignore. Nurses and sleep experts warn that persistent morning fatigue, even after what looks like a full night's sleep, may be a red flag that your body is aging faster than it should. Doctors explain that one of the most common but hidden causes of this kind of fatigue is poor sleep quality, not quantity. You may be lying in bed for hours, but if your body isn't entering the deep healing stages of sleep, your cells don't get a chance to repair, your brain doesn't reset, and your immune system doesn't recharge. Over time, this kind of shallow sleep wears down your energy, your mood, and your physical strength. One of the most overlooked reasons for poor sleep in seniors is a condition called sleep apnea. It often goes undiagnosed because it doesn't always involve loud snoring. In fact, many seniors with sleep apnea don't even realize they stop breathing multiple times during the night. These pauses, even if brief, can jolt the body out of deep sleep over and over again. Doctors have observed that this repeated disruption not only causes next-day exhaustion, but also increases the risk of heart disease, memory loss, and faster aging. Another reason behind waking up tired is a drop in key hormones like melatonin and cortisol, which help regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle. As we age, these hormones naturally decline. But when the drop is too steep or out of balance, the result can be frequent nighttime waking, tossing and turning, and that unshakable feeling of being unrested in the morning. Experts explain that when your circadian rhythm, your internal body clock, gets out of sync, it can lead to accelerated aging by disrupting everything from digestion to blood sugar control to brain function. Studies also show that chronic morning fatigue may signal that your cells are under stress. When the body doesn't get true restorative sleep, it builds up oxidative stress, tiny imbalances that damage cells and speed up the aging process. Over time, this can lead to fatigue. That's more than just tiredness. It becomes a sign that your body is struggling to recover. This kind of fatigue isn't fixed by just one good night's sleep. It requires rebalancing what's happening deep inside. Doctors have observed that seniors who regularly wake up tired often begin to move less, socialize less, and even eat less. And when that happens, the muscles weaken, the mood drops, and the body begins a downward spiral. But the reverse is also true. When sleep quality improves, when the body is allowed to heal properly at night, seniors report better focus, lighter moods, stronger energy, and even less joint pain. The good news is, once this pattern is noticed, it can be addressed. Nurses advise paying close attention to how you feel in the morning, not just how long you sleep. If you wake up feeling like you ran a marathon in your dreams, it's a signal, not a normal part of getting older. It's your body asking for help. Even small changes, like dimming lights before bed, cutting back on late-night screens, or getting checked for sleep apnea, can start to restore better sleep. But the first step is awareness. That feeling of tiredness may seem harmless, but doctors warn it can be the body's earliest cry for help. before more serious problems appear. So if every morning feels like a mountain to climb, don't ignore it. Your energy is not just a luxury. It's the fuel your body needs to stay strong, think clearly, and fight off disease. You deserve to wake up feeling alive, not defeated. And the sooner you address why you're waking up tired, the more time you give yourself to age with strength and clarity. You've earned the right to feel well each day, not just survive it. If your mornings are heavy and hard, your body may be aging faster than it should. But there is hope. You can restore your energy, you can take control, and it starts by listening to the message your mornings are trying to send. You notice your foot catches the rug. You bump your elbow on a door frame. Maybe you reach for something and sway a little too far. It happens quickly, and at first it feels harmless. But when it keeps happening again and again, it's not just clumsiness. Doctors warn that a decline in balance, especially after 65, may be one of the clearest early signs that the body is aging faster than it should. Losing balance isn't just about falling. It's about the systems in your body that are quietly struggling to stay in sync. Doctors explain that balance relies on a careful connection between your eyes, your inner ears, your muscles, and your brain. When even one of those begins to weaken, like the tiny stabilizing muscles in your ankles or the fluid in your inner ear, you begin to lose steadiness. And when that happens, the risks grow quickly. Experts have observed that seniors with subtle balance issues are far more likely to experience a serious fall within the next 12 months. Not because they're weak, but because their body can't correct itself in time. A small misstep on the stairs, a quick turn in the kitchen, or a slippery spot in the shower becomes a threat. What used to be an everyday movement now carries weight. The Centers for Disease Control report that falls are the leading cause of injury-related death among seniors. That's not to scare you. It's to remind you how important balance really is. But here's what many don't realize. The earliest signs are often small. Bumping into furniture, feeling a little dizzy when standing up, noticing your stride feels a little shorter. These things are often brushed off as aging, but they can be signals. Signals that your muscles, especially the ones deep in your hips and core, are starting to lose tone, that your joints aren't responding as quickly, or that your posture is slowly shifting in a way that throws off your center of gravity. Doctors have also noted that balance problems can stem from inner ear changes. Inside your ears are tiny structures filled with fluid that help you know which way is up, down, or turning. As you age, those systems can weaken or send mixed signals to the brain. The result is not just dizziness, it's instability. And that instability can quietly drain your confidence, causing you to walk slower, hesitate more, and move less. And when movement slows, so does muscle strength. It becomes a cycle. But here's the hopeful part. Balance can be restored. Muscle tone can improve. And the systems that control coordination can be retrained. Nurses working with older adults have seen remarkable changes in those who address their balance early. Not just fewer falls, but more confidence, more strength, more ability to do the things they love without fear. If you're noticing more bruises, more stumbles, or more cautious steps, don't ignore them. Your body may be trying to warn you before something more serious happens. Early awareness gives you the power to act, to rebuild what's weakening, and to protect the freedom you still have. Balance is more than just staying upright. It's about staying independent. And the sooner you respond to those small slips and bumps, the better your chances of staying strong, steady, and safe. Every step of the way, your favorite meals no longer excite you. The smells that once made your mouth water now pass by without a second thought. Food sits on your plate longer. You eat less. And sometimes you skip meals altogether. Not because you're full, but because you're simply not interested. Nurses working closely with older adults warn that when a person begins to lose interest in food, especially the foods they once loved, it's often more than just aging. It can be one of the body's earliest signs that something deeper is changing, and that the aging process may be moving faster than expected. Doctors explain that appetite loss in seniors is rarely just about taste. It's often a warning signal. A fading appetite can be tied to silent nutrient deficiencies, especially in key vitamins like B12, zinc, and iron, all of which help regulate mood, memory, and energy. When these nutrients drop, so does your desire to eat. And the less you eat, the more your body struggles to absorb the very nutrients it's missing. It becomes a dangerous cycle that speeds up weakness, weight loss, and internal aging. Experts have also linked loss of appetite to emotional health. Studies show that after age 65, many adults face rising levels of loneliness, grief, or anxiety, all of which can quietly suppress hunger. Doctors have observed that depression in seniors often doesn't show up as sadness, but as disinterest in daily pleasures, and that includes food. You may not feel tearful, but if your plate feels meaningless, that could be your body and mind calling for help. There's also growing evidence that changes in the brain, especially early cognitive shifts, can affect the hunger centers that regulate appetite. Seniors in the early stages of memory decline may forget to eat, feel overwhelmed by meal prep, or lose the drive to enjoy flavors. It's not that they've stopped liking food, it's that their brain no longer connects food with comfort the way it used to. And when this connection fades, so does the body's ability to nourish and heal itself. Doctors caution that even minor appetite loss, if ignored, can lead to serious consequences. Seniors who eat less over time often experience rapid muscle loss known as sarcopenia. This makes everyday tasks harder, balance weaker, and falls more likely. It also weakens the immune system, making the body slower to fight off infections or recover from illness. What starts as skipping lunch becomes much more serious in a matter of months. But this change is not irreversible. Nurses who work with aging patients have seen hope where appetite returns after the root cause is treated, whether that's correcting a deficiency, supporting mental health, or addressing early memory issues. The body is always looking for a way to heal, but it needs fuel to do so. If meals feel like a chore, if you find yourself eating less without trying, or if your favorite foods no longer bring joy, it's time to pay attention. Your body could be asking for help before more visible damage occurs. Catching this change early is one of the most powerful ways to slow down unnecessary aging and restore your strength from the inside out. You were never meant to fade away quietly. Food is more than just fuel. It's a signal of life, connection, and care. If you've lost your appetite, don't accept it as normal. Your body still wants to thrive, and with the right support, it can. You stand on the scale and the number hasn't changed much. Your clothes still fit, but something feels different. Your arms feel softer, your legs feel weaker. When getting up from a chair takes more effort. Climbing stairs leaves you winded, and you've started to notice your strength isn't what it used to be. Doctors warn that when older adults begin to lose muscle, even if their weight stays the same, it may be an early sign of sarcopenia, a condition that silently speeds up aging from the inside out. Sarcopenia is the natural loss of muscle. That happens with age, but experts explain that after 65, it can accelerate fast. What's dangerous is how quiet it is. Because your weight doesn't change, many people don't realize it's happening. But beneath the surface, fat often replaces muscle, even as the scale holds steady. That change in body composition may not be visible at first, but the body feels it. Less strength, more effort, longer recovery, and eventually, more risk. Doctors have observed that seniors experiencing muscle loss are at a much higher risk of falls, bone fractures, and loss of mobility. Everyday movements, lifting groceries, reaching overhead, getting out of a car, become harder. And when movement slows, independence starts to fade. Researchers also note that muscle plays a powerful role in regulating metabolism, blood sugar, and even immune function. So when muscle declines, your entire body becomes more vulnerable, not just to injury, but to illness and disease. Nurses working in rehabilitation centers often describe a pattern they see again and again. Seniors come in after a fall or illness, and their recovery is slower than expected. not because they're sick, but because their muscles were already weak before the incident happened. That slow erosion of strength didn't happen overnight. It was building quietly for months, even years, beneath the surface of stable body weight. Studies show that adults over 65 can lose up to 3 to 5% of their muscle mass every decade, more if they're not regularly engaging their muscles. And this loss doesn't just affect physical strength. It also affects balance, energy, and endurance. Seniors with low muscle mass often find themselves fatigued after simple tasks, needing more time to rest, and feeling less stable on their feet. These are not just signs of getting older. They're signs of a body that's losing its core support system, its muscle. Doctors emphasize that muscle is one of the most protective tissues in the human body. It shields bones, supports joints, and powers every movement. When muscle begins to fade, it doesn't just reduce physical function. It opens the door to a cascade of aging-related problems. But the good news is that muscle is not gone forever. Experts explain that with the right attention, including better nutrition and gentle, consistent movement, seniors can build back strength at any age. If you've noticed you're feeling weaker, even though your weight looks normal, take it seriously. Your body may be signaling that it needs more support, more movement, more nourishment. This isn't just about looking fit. It's about staying mobile, independent, and protected from the dangers that come with hidden muscle loss. You don't have to accept weakness as your new normal. Your body remembers how to be strong. And by listening to the quiet signs now, you give yourself the chance to keep moving freely, safely, and confidently for many more years to come. You pause mid-sentence, trying to find a word that's just out of reach. You walk into a room and forget why you came in. You see a familiar face, maybe a neighbor or an old friend, and suddenly their name slips away. Moments like these may seem small, even normal, but doctors warn that frequent lapses in memory, especially forgetting names, appointments, or common words, can signal early cognitive decline, and that can mean your brain is aging faster than it should. Experts explain that memory changes after 65 are common, but the kind that happens often, without stress or distraction, should not be ignored. Studies show that mild cognitive decline, especially when it begins with word-finding issues or forgetfulness around daily routines, can be an early marker of changes in the brain's structure and function. These changes don't mean dementia is certain, but they do suggest the brain is under strain. And that strain, if left unaddressed, can speed up aging. Doctors have observed that the areas of the brain responsible for memory and language, including the hippocampus and frontal lobes, are highly sensitive to inflammation, poor circulation, and nutrient deficiencies. When these areas are deprived of oxygen or key vitamins, like B12 and folate, their performance begins to drop. The result? Struggling to recall names, losing track of time, forgetting words mid-conversation. And while many seniors laugh it off, experts say these patterns can be the brain's way of crying out for help. Researchers also point to the role of sleep and stress in brain health. When sleep quality declines, the brain's ability to clear out waste, especially a sticky protein called beta amyloid, becomes impaired. This buildup has been closely linked to cognitive disorders later in life. At the same time, chronic stress releases hormones that weaken memory and make it harder to focus or retain new information. So when forgetfulness becomes frequent, doctors encourage seniors to view it as a sign to check in, not something to accept quietly. What makes this even more important is the emotional impact. Nurses working with older adults say memory slips often lead to quiet embarrassment, social withdrawal, and lowered confidence. Many seniors begin to speak less, avoid conversations, or stop attending events. Not because they don't want to, but because they fear forgetting someone's name or losing their train of thought. This isolation not only affects mood, it further speeds cognitive decline. But there is hope. Studies show that when early signs are caught and addressed, the brain can adapt. It can build new connections, strengthen weak areas, and even slow the aging process. Doctors have observed noticeable improvements in memory, and clarity when seniors engage in the right mental activities, stay socially connected, and improve circulation and nutrition. But it all starts with noticing the signs and acting on them. If you found yourself forgetting things more often, especially names or appointments you used to remember easily, don't ignore it. Your brain may be telling you it needs more care. You don't have to accept decline as your future. You can take steps now to protect your memory, your clarity, and your ability to stay sharp and independent. Your thoughts are part of who you are. Your stories, your conversations, your daily routines, they matter, and you deserve to keep them. So listen closely to your mind. It may be whispering for help before it starts to shout. And by paying attention today, you give yourself the greatest gift tomorrow, the power to remember. You catch a cold and it lingers. A minor infection turns into a bigger problem. What used to pass in days now takes weeks. And lately, you've noticed that you're getting sick more often, with things that didn't used to bother you. Doctors warn that when your immune system starts reacting slower, and when recovery becomes harder, it's one of the clearest signs your body is aging faster on the inside than the calendar suggests. Experts explain that after 65, the immune system naturally weakens. But for some seniors, that decline accelerates, not just in defense, but in repair. Researchers call this immune aging. It doesn't just mean you're more likely to catch viruses. It means your body's ability to fight back and recover is slowing down. And when that system slows too much, it opens the door to deeper risks, like pneumonia, urinary tract infections, or even shingles. Doctors have observed that seniors with a weakened immune response often show delayed inflammation. That means when a germ enters the body, it takes longer for the immune cells to recognize and respond. And even after the infection is cleared, the body struggles to heal. This delay isn't always obvious at first. It might show up as a lingering cough, a wound that won't close, a stomach bug that lasts too long. But behind those symptoms is a deeper imbalance, one that can speed up aging in every major organ. One of the biggest causes of this decline is low-grade inflammation. Experts call it inflammaging, a silent, constant irritation inside the body that damages immune cells over time. Studies show that seniors with high levels of inflammation are not only more prone to illness, but also experience more fatigue, slower recovery from surgery, and higher risk of complications from even mild infections. It's not just about being sick more often. It's about the whole body having less strength to bounce back. Nurses working with seniors in recovery centers often describe a pattern. A small illness, a cold, a cut, a dental issue turns into weeks of weakness. Appetite drops, movement slows, mood shifts, and from there, a chain reaction begins. Muscles shrink, energy fades, hospital visits become more likely, not because the illness was severe, but because the immune system couldn't do its job fast enough. That slow recovery becomes the real danger, but doctors emphasize that this decline is not permanent. The immune system, even in older adults, can be supported and strengthened. Researchers have seen improvements when inflammation is reduced, when sleep improves, and when certain nutrients like vitamin D, zinc, and antioxidants are brought back into balance. The key is recognizing the signs early, before the slowdowns become the new normal. If you're getting sick more often than usual, or if you're taking longer to get back on your feet, pay attention. Your body may be asking for urgent support. These aren't just small inconveniences. They're warning lights, signals that your defenses are low and your internal clock may be running too fast. You don't have to surrender to frailty. Your body still remembers how to heal. And with the right awareness and action, you can help it do what it was always meant to do: protect you. You've come this far. You deserve to stay strong. Listen to your body, then give it what it needs to fight back.